It's out. It's out of the crate.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another of my creature feature reviews. Today I'm taking a look at the 1992 horror comedy creature feature, Leprechaun. The film was written and directed by Mark Jones and it stars Warwick Davis, Jennifer Aniston, Ken Olant, Mark Holton and Robert High Gorman. Right, okay, the film focuses on like an American ranch sort of thing. You know, Jennifer Aniston and her father move into like an old property that has been left to stand for about 10 years. It's all dusty and messy, but 10 years previously, the owner of that property had stolen a pot of gold from a leprechaun. And this leprechaun does not like that when you steal his gold, and he will come after you. However, the owner had kind of trapped him in a box with a clover leaf on top, so that he's been trapped for these past 10 years. This family moves in. There are a group of workmen there who are like painting the house, and one of them unwittingly unleashes the leprechaun. Once he's out, he wants his gold back and he will kill anybody in his way until he gets what he wants. Right, what are my thoughts on Leprechaun? Well, this is a first time watch for me, guys. I've never seen Leprechaun before. Obviously, I've known the existence of this franchise, and there is quite a few films in this franchise which I'll probably go on and watch. But like I said, I've never watched it. This is probably more famous for the fact that it's Jennifer Aniston's film debut. And like the following year from this, when it came out, she found megastardom in Friends. And she kind of shunned the movie for a while, you know, pretended it didn't exist. But because of the success of Jennifer Aniston's career, it kind of sparked a film series here. We got a lot of sequels, so it kind of spawned a franchise, maybe unwittingly. But this one here is, well, after doing a little bit of research, it would seem that there was a bit of a battle between the people behind the scenes on this one. Some people wanted it to be like a serious horror gore fest, if you like, similar to like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, etc. And there were others that wanted this to be more of a horror comedy like Gremlins and Critters. And that's the way that Warwick Davis and the director wanted to go. They wanted to make it like a horror comedy more than anything else. Because, I mean, come on. How can you take this tiny leprechaun seriously? You know, you almost die of laughter when you first see it. It doesn't come across as very dangerous and very sinister. Now, that's not to say that it isn't, because he does prove it in the film that he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. But the horror comedy, if you like, route that they went down here probably worked better. I think if they'd have taken a more serious tone with this film, it'd have been probably unwatchable to a large degree. Because, I mean, even as it stands now, where it doesn't take itself seriously and it's clearly a horror comedy, this ain't a great film, guys. You know what I mean? But I'm always one of these that I can accept a film and even enjoy films to a large degree. They don't necessarily take themselves too seriously. For me, the major crime of any film is, especially if it's a bad film, and it takes itself deadly seriously, it's even worse, in my opinion. It makes the film even worse. But if you get a film that kind of understands what it is, it's self-aware of what it is, and, you know, the performance from Warwick Davis is pitched towards that, you know, the comedy side of things, then this makes it a far more palatable film, an entertaining film. And that's what it is. It's entertaining and palatable, but it is by no means a classic. It is basically just Warwick Davis running around cackling at people and doing the occasional spell or whatever, or and killing the odd person in different and more creative ways, I suppose. And he does come across eventually as like a real threat, whereas initially, early in the film, you're just kind of like, so all you have to do is pop him in a box and put a clover leaf on top, and that's him trapped. Okay, why don't you just bury him in a big hole, and just put about 700,000 clover leaves in the soil around him, and that's him done for. But that's just me. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of questions raised in this film. It doesn't make a huge amount of sense. I mean, there's other things in the film. You've got this 3-man crew. I can't remember what they're called. It's like 3 guys who paint, something like that. And you've got this big hunky guy that's obviously there for a bit of contrast to Jennifer Aniston, who's absolutely gorgeous here. I mean, she's gorgeous now. I mean, she's absolutely stunning here as well. And they're there to be painting the house, and there's 3 of them, and even Jennifer Aniston starts helping. And they've not even done 1% of the painting, even though big chunks of the early part of the film shows them painting. It's just daft stuff like that. They just aren't very good at the job. So it doesn't make a great deal of sense. But I mean, I suppose it doesn't really have to make a great deal of sense. I think the biggest crime of this film is it is just not scary at all. Understandably so. As I've said, it's Warwick Davis made up quite impressively as this leprechaun, but he kind of waddles around, you know what I mean? Like, rather than running, which obviously that's all he can do, Warwick Davis. And he doesn't have a great deal of menacing factor about him. And so therefore, it doesn't feel like there's a great deal of fear factor around him. So he doesn't come across as scary, and there is no scares here. Real, genuine, scares here. It's more of like the premise here, I suppose, and it's pitched in the right way, as I've said, the fact that they go the lighter approach, because God forbid I couldn't handle a leprechaun, and us being asked to take this character seriously as a real menacing threat. It would just drive you around the bend. And there are some really fun moments in this film as well. I mean, the premise that if he sees a shoe, this leprechaun, he has to clean it. He has to clean the shoe. He has to stop whatever he's doing and clean the shoe. And there's a great scene in the film where they attack him, where basically just chucking shoes in his general direction. So as he's charging towards him to try and get him, as a shoe passes him, he's got to stop and go and clean that shoe. And then they keep chucking more shoes at him, and more shoes and more shoes. And he's like, oh God, he's running around cleaning these shoes. That, for me, was the highlight of the film. I thought that was hilarious, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, it's a fun film. It's not scary. It is definitely a bit stupid and a bit daft, but I didn't dislike it, put it that way. So I will probably carry on and maybe do the rest of the franchise. I'll just do the others as like horror reviews rather than creature features. I'm just doing this as the creature feature, the first one. So let me know your thoughts on the Leprechaun franchise. Am I in for bother if I carry on watching these? Is it going to be like the Wrong Turn films all over again, where they get progressively worse and you end up just wanting or needing therapy? Let me know. In the meantime, I will see you back on the channel for more content and reviews.